Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Huge shout out and special thanks to the channel members. The manhwa starts, with embers in the air, as a man stands above a pack of wolf corpses. As he pulls his sword out of one, he turns towards two more wolves. He has an axe in his other hand, and points it at the wolves, saying it's their turn. They dash towards him in a crisscross pattern. Until they leap in the air above him, they start growling at him, and bro even yells back. He stabs one in the side of the head. Then begins to pull his blade back out. And swings it to clean the blood off of it. The other wolf leaps at him, he swings towards its mouth, but it latches onto the blade. Beginning to pull him away. He realizes what's going on, as he looks back. As another comes in, he raises his axe, screaming while swinging it. He manages to split the wolf's head open, but is still being pulled by the other wolf. It slams him straight into a tree. He raises his axe into the air. He starts whacking away at the wolf's head over and over. Until finally he can catch a breather. Never mind, as another wolf pulls up with something bloody in its mouth. The man then thanks someone. As the wolf gets closer, he says now he has confirmed that the letter was real. So there is no reason for him to keep it alive any longer. It then jumps to some time before, as he's happy his midterms are finally over, and he's survived in the academy yet again. And we are introduced to Ian Perkus, a third year in the Department of Swordsmanship. A woman tells him it was just midterms, and he shouldn't make a big deal about it because he can still be kicked out if he fails other exams. Her name is Celine Hayter, a second year of the night department. His other friend says he did his best, so be happy. He is Leto Ainstern, same major as Ian. Ian says that even though he may not be good at swordsmanship, he passed with his footwork and horse riding skills. Leto says even if he manages to do that, he will end up as a background character like a security guard. Let doesn't know that Ian has plot armor. Celine says that she's not like them, and with each exam her life expectancy is getting shorter and shorter. Ian says they are in the best academy in the empire, so of course it's going to be hard. Celine asks why he's stating the obvious. Ian tells her that she's the one who started it. She asks if he knows that the first period tomorrow is a practical swordsmanship class. So they can't be late, or they'll be given point reductions. Ian sighs, asking why it had to be right after exams. Celine says that it's not a big deal, she'll see them tomorrow. Leto says it too, and they all say their goodbyes. Back in his room, Ian closes the door and sighs again, saying he is never picking morning classes again. He lays down in bed, and starts to knock out instantly. He begins to dream about Delphirum. As we see him on a battlefield littered with corpses. He stands up, saying that Delphirum is coming. And that they must stop him. As it seems the apocalypse is on its way. Ian wakes up screaming. He wonders what that dream was about, saying that Delphirum is a name from myths. He chalks it up to drinking too much. He then notices some letters on his desk. He wonders with the date on his calendar too, since it's meant to be a different month, there's also some letters too. He picks it up, and starts reading it out. Saying maybe the person who left it must have turned the calendar over too. From the handwriting it looks really feminine. He then thinks about it. Saying maybe one of the women here have feelings for him. Bro is feeling himself. He says he may be late to class, but he should give it a quick read. The letter pretty much says that they thought it was a fairy tale, but their names were engraved on the book. He pulls out the seat, continuing to read it. Then mentions something about a fiancé, and stuff about his classes and beasts. The letter says that I'll dream of you tonight as well, from Sophia. Year 571 of the imperial calendar on the 5th day of the month of the bow. Ian clicks his tongue, saying he was duped. The dates don't even match either. Seems like they put no effort into this, and that Sophia needs to prepare better next time. There's also some weird bit at the end that says if they don't protect the future the world will fall to ruin. He gets annoyed, saying he should head to class already, asking who would write a love letter anyways. On his way to class, some of the students seem wary of him, saying that he's the crazy one from the rumors. Ian just wonders why everyone is staring at him. And he wonders why he has an axe on his hip. He has legit no clue what is going on. He spots Leto and Celine, calling out to the two of them. Who are surprised they turn away ignoring him. Leto tells her to act like she doesn't know him. She says obviously, since she doesn't want to be dragged off somewhere weird again. Ian asks if they are even listening to him. Celine freezes up but Leto turns. Then starts inspecting him, saying his eyes are more clear and that he seems different today. Ian says he's not in the mood for this. Leto tells him that an evil spirit possessed him, but now it's gone it seems. Ian asks what he's talking about. Celine tells him that something possessed him this past week. Ian asks what she means by a whole week, saying he said goodbye to them last night. She gets annoyed, asking if he really doesn't remember anything. Leto says he's been treating them like servants all week. Now their reputation is ruined, and they'd have taken him to an exorcist if he didn't threaten them with an axe. He pulls his axe out, asking if they mean this one. They bark at him, saying to keep that shit away from them, since it's giving them a PTSD flashback. Ian wonders if something like that actually happened. He doesn't recall anything weird, or being near anything haunted. Maybe it's linked to his nightmare. They both say they are just glad it's gone, and he is back to normal, so another incident won't happen. Ian asks what they mean by incident. Celine said he did something crazy, he beat the second year's top student. Ian thinks about who that is, wondering if they mean the youngest or expert, and the one who's referred to as a monster swordswoman. Seria Yurdina. Ian asks if they are joking about him beating a monster like her, but Celine doubles down, saying he hospitalized her for this whole week. Ian says no way, wondering what evil spirit made that possible. She says no clue, asking what he is going to do about it. He asks what she means. She says about the swordsmanship class today. As he is fighting her once more. Bro looks scared, while what I assume is Seria, glares at him. Here is the first letter he received. It says, to my beloved Ian Percus, there's no way someone doesn't like spring. They heard this in the capital city of Arancourt a while ago. He was a mature gentleman dressed in stylish clothes, and his eloquence and charm left an impression on them. Now that they think about it, they suppose he must have worked for an aristocratic family. Even though he said he wandered aimlessly for winter, his smile was as warm as the spring. Whoever wrote this is trying to rizz him up. It gives us a flashback to Seria on the floor reaching towards her practice sword. She struggles to stand, saying this is unbelievable before he couldn't last 10 seconds, but Ian cuts her off. Saying that what was unbelievable is her mediocre swordsmanship. He then swings, hitting her in the face with the domestic violence no jutsu, causing her to roll along the floor. She stood back up, only to take another serving of it. The other students say that she was virtually undefeated even against fourth-year students, yet Ian somehow won. He steps towards her, asking if she wasn't the least bit suspicious. As she took a chance at every little opening he gave her, without realizing a single time that it was a trap. The flashback ends, and he wonders why he had to fight someone in the same class as himself. It would have been fine if he were up against someone he could beat. But fighting the unbeatable student Seria is just a pipe dream. Celine tells Ian to surrender while he can. The other classmates say she sure is persistent. She lost miserably, but refuses to accept it. The professor always covered for her because she is strong, but her pride must have been heavily damaged. The teacher says that's enough yapping, as it's time for them to start their match. They have their WWE stare down. The teacher tells her to remember this match serves as a substitute for her class, so it'll reflect on her grades. Ian says the evil spirit should have handled this too. It just vanished after doing what it wanted. Now he has no idea what to do. Since she's the top student, a few marks taken off won't hurt her. But if he fails, he'll end up stuck living with his parents. He just needs to hold out until she's satisfied, so maybe 10 minutes is enough. She instantly closes the gap, knocking him into the air. Bro is gonna get folded. As he hits the ground, he says there's no way he's going to last 10 minutes. But if he gives up, she won't accept it. He shakily stands up, asking if it's his turn now. She tells him to do as he wishes. He runs in with his sword dragging behind. He leaps into the air wondering what's going on. Saying that his body feels so light. He wonders what happened in the time that he can't remember, as his body is moving exactly as he wants it to. Seria starts to smirk, then locks back in. She knocks the sword out of his hands, then hits him in the stomach. Followed by another combo. He says that he thought it was possible, but nope. She asks if he didn't show that opening on purpose. Yet last week he brushed her aside effortlessly like he was toying with her. He says that he's so tired of hearing about last week. If he hears it one more time, he's gonna lose his mind. She asks whose fault he thinks it is that she is now a laughingstock. She gets pissed and leaps at him from above. He raises his sword, saying that there's no doubt about it. His vision and reaction speed have improved. As she turns, he once again thinks he should be a match for her. Of course that doesn't happen as she sends him flying backwards once more. They try it again. As she flies in, she swings from above. He blocks it, only to be bodied once more. She doesn't miss a beat, closing the gap within a second. He says that it's just a continuous assault, to the point he can't do anything. But he is doing his best to keep you somehow. He falls down once more, but as he's standing this time, he wonders why she's making so many unnecessary moves. She says to not charge in when you see an opening, assume it's a trap. These are words he told her last week. Which is why she asked for a rematch. But he is doing awful. As we see him gassed out. She begins running in, saying it's about time he gets serious. He says that while he has gotten stronger, she isn't the same as last time either. Thanks to the words he said to her last week, she's making more unnecessary movements. She counter swings, and he blocks it. He distances himself, but she stays close only to get blocked once more. She then goes in for a big swing, which again he manages to block. He says now he's fought with her for long enough now, if he quits she can't be upset. But instead we see her glad he's finally serious. She runs in with the sword overhead, saying that it's time for him to show her what he can do. He looks up, saying there it is. Ian looks over and notices something. Someone says that if Ian doesn't give up in 5 seconds Seria wins. Ian says that the deal with the possession and beating Seria are both unbelievable things that he said happen. The teacher begins to count. But he's done what he could to make amends. As he has to become normal again. Seria says she knows he took that hit on purpose. Saying he can't settle things like this, she'll request another duel if it ends like this. Even if he refuses or skips, she will challenge him again and again. Until he has a taste of the humiliation she felt. He's struggling for something he can't even remember. Asking if he's really being treated like this just because she lost. The teacher says that if he wants to withdraw he should do it, asking if he would like to stop. Ian says he can keep going. The teacher says they'll continue then. Telling them both to get ready. Seria says this is good, as they couldn't end things like that. Ian smiles, saying he can't run away anymore. And that he's gonna destroy that pride she has. She runs in, sword overhead again. He looks dead ahead, grabbing her sword. Which surprises her, and she says no way. He pulls her in close, he tells her that he's got her now. We now see another letter. This one says that every time they do, they think of what they've accomplished, becoming heroes. It's pretty much the same thing as he read before about all of their names being in the fairy tale book. Back to the fight, he says he could see her sword movements clearly. And he was able to dodge without any problems. She looks a bit nervous, but he's ready to crush her ego. She begins to charge in. He looks directly at her blade. As he can see the path of her sword. As she closes the gap, she raises the blade. Swinging it down, directly to where Ian was standing. But he can see the timings of her swings. She tries again, leaping into the air. Getting ready for another downward attack. As she starts to swing it down, we see Ian catch it. Just like he did a minute ago. He then throws it to the side, causing it to slide along the floor. He tells her that it's over now. She looks worried, to the point she puts her hands up in fear. He stops, wondering if this is really okay. What's even the point in settling something from a week ago? It will just make it worse. It's not about winning, it's about him understanding the issue. He flicks her straight on the forehead. Some students laugh, others look confused. She asks what he's doing, and if he's making fun of her now that he's won. He asks why she's trying so hard to win against him. She grits her teeth, yelling about how winning is everything. Because if she loses she'll become a laughing stock. He smiles, asking if it really matters what others think. As losing one match won't change what people think of her. And no matter what people say, the effort she's poured into honing her swordsmanship won't disappear right now. She says he may be right, and he tells her that getting made fun of probably hurts. But if everything she's worked for until now becomes meaningless, that would be unfair. She nods her head, and low-key looks like she's on the verge of tears. He tells her he has been losing all the time in the academy, so she can trust when he says that there is no point in taking other people's words to heart. Even if she loses once and gets laughed at, nothing will change. She says he is right. She subconsciously convinced herself that her sword was useless. Even though it's the swordsmanship she had built up herself. She tells him she has learned a lot. Then bows, thanking him for this. Celine says this must mean that he won. Some of the other students say that's insane, and wonder who he is. They must have not been here last week. The teacher laughs, saying it's good to be young. Seria says that from now on she'll walk her own path, just as Ian had taught her. Ian looks confident too, since he's actually grown in technically a day for him. But he also learned things won't go the way he wants either. As now his fame has grown even more than last time. They start making rumors about it. They say that he almost killed her the first time. then forced her to admit defeat the second time. They say they should stay away from him. Ian says he only won because she doesn't know what she is capable of. Not because he is strong. Though it's true his aura detection and mana have gone up significantly compared to before. Yet no matter how unnecessary movement she made, if his skills were worse than hers he wouldn't have won at all. He wonders what happened on the days he can't remember. Celine asks if he's trying to figure out what happened last week. He calls out to her, but ignores Leto. He says yes, but he doesn't know why he was possessed. She says the Saintess said he was fine. He says there are still weird rumors all around him though. Celine says they aren't even bad rumors, so why does it matter? Before this he was looked down upon. And it pissed her off that they'd always say he was handsome, but since he's a countryside noble it's not attractive. He tells her that means they still liked him though. Leto is third wheeling. She then stomps his foot, saying that, thanks to him, even the high-ranking nobles have been treating them better. Because they are scared he'll crush them. She then asks if the rumor is true. He asks which one since there are quite a few. They say that Seria has been following him around since that day. Celine gets annoyed, asking if she really has. Ian points over saying there she is. We see her behind a tree, totally hidden. She is even blushing a little bit. Leto asks if she really thinks that works. Celine gets jealous, asking why she is following him around. Leto asks when she started to follow him around. Ian says maybe 5 days ago. Leto tells her to go talk to her because she blows up. So he walks over, she is mumbling to herself about asking him before it's too late. Ian calls out to her, saying he's noticed she is following him around. She is surprised he saw through her brilliant disguise. I am too, but nothing deceives the eyes of plot armor. She gets nervous, saying she'd like to ask for his guidance. Because she wants to get stronger. He says she's become more polite than last week, he has no idea what he could teach her, since she is stronger than him. But he also got his normal life back, so he doesn't know what to do. But she's giving him puppy dog eyes. He says he's sorry, but he has to refuse. She asks why, saying he won against her twice. He says it's only because she let her guard down. And it was just pure luck. She tries telling him luck is a skill too. She asks if he could do it just until the hunting festival. He says that ridiculous letter also mentioned the hunting festival. It mentioned that there were a lot of accidents during the hunting festival. Emma from the alchemy department went to gather herbs. When she was attacked by a mysterious monster. And she was found with her stomach ripped open. She looks nervous, saying there's no reason for him to help her. He says thanks to her he remembered what he needed to do. She looks confused, as he tells her that if she wants to get stronger to ask Professor Derek instead of him. Leto asks where he's going, and if he settled things with Seria. He says no, but he remembered what he had to do. He honestly didn't believe anything written in that letter. However, his friends' names kept coming up in it. He has to confirm if she's safe in person, and if maybe he is truly receiving them from the future. It jumps to an alchemy room, as a woman is mixing a potion. And that she would definitely know about it. We see another letter, since they are really long and yappy. The short version is that the person got used to living in Aaroncourt, and were worried about the desert for no reason. Then talk about some old saying, but if it's important I'll bring it up later. But writing a letter to him has become an important part of their day. It jumps to the training area, as we see Seria take a deep breath, then swing her blade forward. She then does some fancy shit I don't know how to describe. But Derek tells her that's good enough. And that she's almost there. If she remains diligent she should be able to create a well-rounded aura by the time the festival is here. She thanks him. He says that he never thought she would ask him to teach her. She says that Ian actually told her to ask him for guidance. He's surprised, asking if that's the case. But she is too. Then she thinks about it, saying that she will be taking her leave, since he might not be able to teach her anything else. He says that she has a lack of social skills. She says she'll see him in the next class. He then calls out to her, saying there's no need to rush even though that guy only managed to place second in the hunting festival in his second year. She tries to tell him something else, but he says that it's probably odd for a professor to ask her not to rush herself, when she's so eager to improve her grades. He tells her he'll give her a hint since it's her first hunting festival. She needs to familiarize herself with the terrain and monsters of the southern forest. It is where the hunting festival will be held. He's sure her upperclassmen have started to do so too. She asks if there's any strong monsters. Derek says there's hardly any near the entrance, but once she is halfway into the forest she'll see some powerful monsters. She says she'll go deeper next time. He tells her not to do it on her own though. Although students can take most of them down. It then jumps to a woman, who I am assuming is Emma, saying, "There are some records of terrible monsters that appear more frequently as the hunting festival approaches." We then hear a woman saying at the time of creation, "The heavenly god Ars was born alongside light. With the darkness came the evil god Omelos. The heavenly go together with the flow of time, created the universe. This is how the law that time flows from the past to the future was made. If this law were to be overturned, the world would be plunged into great turmoil. Thus, the heavenly God firmly preserved the order of time by placing several restrictions on it. Therefore, if there is any being that can defy this order, it would be an enemy of the heavenly God, a being that is immensely powerful. Someone such as Delphilim, the one from the fairy tales." The woman asks if he gets it now. Ian says not at all. She says that he is the one who woke her up, even though she was up all night, and demanded she explain this to him. Not only that, but he came and slammed the door open after not visiting for an entire month. He also said some nonsense about him being glad she is okay. She tells him to learn some common sense. He always loses track of things once he starts focusing on something. He tells her to cut him some slack since they are friends. She says, "Friends my ass." He only comes to her when he needs to know something. He says he knows he woke her up, but she's being meaner than usual, and he asks if she can explain it a little more simply. She blushes a bit, saying at least he is sorry, so she'll give him the gist one more time. If he is trying to go against time, he needs immense strength. He says he guesses so. She says there is only one being with that much power, that is Delphilim, the servant of the evil god. He says that means he was sent letters by Delphilim. She tells him to learn some common sense. He says he's just repeating what she said. She says if she had to name someone it would be him, but how could a mythical being that might not even be real do that? He says maybe it's the evil god then. She says they don't know if he's real either. He laughs, saying she is right. She says in any case, getting a letter from the future is impossible, so he should go back to his room and make sure it's secure. He says she's being a little harsh, treating him like an idiot all because of what he said. Then again he guesses he's crazy for believing he got a letter from the future. She says that there's something she wants to give him. He asks what they are. She says they are presence erasing drugs, they are new and he should test if it works. He asks if it will make him invisible. She says no, it just erases his presence. He pops the cork off, chugging it right there on the spot, surprising her. She asks what he's doing, but he just tells her it tastes like ass. She asks why he drank it here, and that it was valuable. He says it was just a test if it works, so she should close her eyes while he hides. She does that, saying the more test results the better. She says she'll close her eyes and try to feel his presence. As she does so, Ian says this is so weird, it's hard to put into words. But he cannot feel his own presence. As if he's become a ghost. If he can remain silent after hiding, it will give him a tremendous advantage during the hunting festival. She then grabs onto his tie, which surprises him, and he asks how she found out. He falls over, and she says this is a no-go, as she didn't even think about it. He asks what she means by that. She says that it's body odor, while his presence is gone. His body odor is still here. Damn, does bro smell? She says everyone has a body odor unique to them, they cannot smell it, and it didn't come to her mind when she tried it on her own. He says he understands, and wishes her good luck, wondering why he is worrying about her when she's so strong. She asks if he's going back now. He says now that he knows she's fine. He'll drink the other test tube in the forest, then report back to her. Then tells her not to go into the forest alone until the festival. And if she really has to, then to call him first. He makes up some bad excuse, saying it's because he heard the monsters have been acting strange lately. She looks happy, asking if that's the case, and she'll put him to good use. He says that's the right mental to have here, and to make sure he gets busy. The next morning, he's reading another letter and throws it away. Wondering who is writing this shit. He throws it into the garbage. Saying he warned her not to go alone, so he thinks she'll be fine. Leto barges in, asking where he ran off to, and he had to calm down Celine on his own. Ian says it must be him. Asking if he knows how much Emma made fun of him because of the letters. Leto asks what he means by letters, and how Emma is. He sighs, saying to forget it and that he admits he fooled him, but next time not to tell him someone is going to die. Leto says he only asked how Emma is, wondering what he is talking about. On the letter it mentioned how Emma was found with her stomach ripped open, as we see her face bloodied. Ian says that he's sure she is fine, when we see that is most certainly not the case. I hope he saves her. The letter this time around says that at first when he asked them to send letters, they were skeptical. But their hearts began pounding thinking about him, always smiling. And how he would feel sending his lover so far away. But it seems only they feel that way, as they write him every 2 days, but he only replies once a week. It jumps to the temple, as we see Emma laying on a bed. With a priest healing her, or maybe she is a saintess. Leto and Ian both pray to Emmanuel as well, must be a god in their world. The saintess says that they found her at the entrance to the forest. Monsters don't often appear in that area, so she must have let her guard down. With that being said, drinking a potion that made it seem like she disappeared saved her life. Ian says surely if the saintess uses her divine power. But she tells him that it isn't all powerful. If he were to give something of high value as an offering, they could perform a miracle. Ian says she should know that an herbalist's daughter won't have anything like that. She continues, telling him that the offering does not mean monetary value, rather the difficulty in obtaining the offering. It is unfortunate, but they should prepare themselves for the worst. She tells him that Emma's father will be here soon. And it would be difficult to explain this situation to him, so she would like him to let the church do it, and he can return later. Ian says that he will stay, as he was the last person to see her. He clenches his fist out of frustration, saying that he has to tell him as it might be the last time they meet. The saintess can tell he is struggling with this, and tells him that it's nobody's fault, so not to blame himself. She starts to give him a prayer, asking that he regain his peace of mind. And once more she ends the prayer with Emmanuel. It jumps to Leto hitting the wall, asking why a monster had to appear at the entrance. If it weren't for that, she could have run away. Ian can tell he's genuinely sad about it too. Then we hear a man screaming for his daughter. Ian turns, seeing Emma's father breaking down in tears. Ian calls out to him, and the man asks if he knows Emma. Then begs that he help him, as he needs to see her face. For the sake of hygienic purposes they weren't allowed back anymore. So they couldn't do anything but wait. If they had a strong backing, or the money for the offering, they might have been able to do something. But for mere countryside nobles, all they could do was tell him the priests are doing their bests. He then tells her father that Emma gave him this, as he pulls the potion out. He says she just developed it and was proud of it, so rather than him having it, he'd prefer if her father took it. But he tells Ian to use it. He then grabs onto his shoulders, saying in exchange, he should never forget her. Ian says he definitely could have prevented all of this from happening. If only he'd taken the letter more seriously. And if he gave her a better warning beforehand. He doesn't know if it's from the future. Nor does he know whether what's written in it is true or not. But it's true he had a feeling he couldn't ignore the letter's contents. If he starts to assume that it's all true, then his first step is finding who Sepia is, and make sure the events described in the letter never come to happen. It then jumps to Leto surprised by the name Sepia. Asking if he has a girlfriend, he never thought that Ian would be interested in a woman. He says to stop yapping, he has to find who wrote the letter. Leto asks if he's checked the student registry. Ian says yes, but he couldn't find anything. Leto says that it might be a fake name. He wonders what kind of woman is making him this anxious. Ian says it's not like that, asking why he would be nervous. He just has to ask her something. Leto asks if it's to be his girlfriend. Bro can't stop teasing him. He ends up with a dent in his face. He says that he knows sepia is the name of a flower. Ian says it is, which is why he doesn't know if it's a real name or fake. Maybe it's a nickname related to the flower. He heard it's common up north, so it might be someone from that area. Ian says that the north is the territory of the Yerdina family. Leto tells him he will ask around, but only one person comes to mind from the north. It's none other than his crazy fan. As they look to the side, we see Seria in her disguise once more, completely hidden. Ian says that is also the first person he thought of. Leto says he doesn't know why she'd send a love letter using a fake name. Ian tells him to get lost. Then a bit later we hear Seria telling Ian this is compensation for him teaching her. As she holds a bag out towards him. Ian asks what she means by compensation. And it's a stupid amount of gold, way more than even 200. She says that when she asked for his guidance before, she realized how bad-mannered it was, to not offer something in return. He says it wasn't rude at all, he also can't take all of this gold. He's more curious as to why she is so desperate for his guidance. She says it's because she doesn't think she has anything left to learn from anyone else. He thought she'd become a little better, but he guesses that was only in front of him. She tells him there's a lot to learn from people you can't beat. He says he told her before that he doesn't have the ability to teach someone like her. He thought she was doing just fine on her own too. Even if she doesn't have him, he's sure she'll reach higher levels on her own. But she cuts him off saying the hunting festival. If she misses it, she won't have another chance. Ian says hold up, the letter said that Sepia also participated in the hunting festival this year too. He puts his hands on her shoulders, telling her he wants to train together now. Which catches her off guard. He needs to find out if she is Sepia or not. Odds are high it's just a one-letter difference. But for the last few days he has been training with Seria. He hasn't been able yet to tell if she is Sepia or not though. He has learned some other things about her. The first is that she has zero social skills. She has the nickname of Rude Yurdina, but she didn't get it from any ill intent. She just sucks at interacting with others. Secondly, she has no idea what rest is. He's heard that higher-ranking nobles train without resting by drinking healing potions, and she is one of those people. He asks her if she's okay. She says that she is fine. This can be healed with just a single potion. He grabs her leg which is bruised, saying she should know potions aren't a cure-all. They don't get rid of tension and fatigue in her joints, which is why they pace themselves when training. He says that she told him this was her last chance, asking what exactly she meant by that, and why it's causing her so much anxiety. She says there is someone in the 4th year she wants to win against. Ian says just because they graduate doesn't mean it's over, she could meet them again and ask for a match. She says that the more time that passes, the more the chances of her fighting them decreases. Ian asks what she means. She says if she were to go against the head of the family she'd be exiled immediately. He's surprised, asking if this means what he thinks it does. She says yes, it's the top student in the swordsmanship department, Delphine Yurdina, who is her half-sister, and will become the head of the family after she graduates. And even if he thinks there's still a chance to duel after graduation, it's just not true. The only place where a direct line and subsidiary line can be equally judged is here within the academy. The letter this time says that working in the imperial capital must be rough, and she fully understands his burdens. As his fiancée she feels awful to not be able to support him in rough times. If you've watched till the end, comment, Perry, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.